Welcome to College Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Have I made a terrible mistake? Well-known Aussies on life after year 12. Why warblers flock to wealthier neighborhoods. Where Dutch voters go, other countries will follow. Number of teachers in England and Wales retiring early jumps by 40%. Super intelligent AI, the utopians. Have I made a terrible mistake? Well-known Aussies on life after year 12. The Sydney Morning Herald. The ABC spoke to a number of famous Australians about their experiences transitioning out of high school and into their careers. Scientist and former bachelor Matt Agnew, for example, spoke about how he initially pursued a career in engineering before realizing he wanted to study astrophysics. He faced rejection from multiple master's programs due to his lack of undergraduate physics, but eventually ended up studying in Sweden. Agnew highlighted the importance of resilience and the ability to change direction and return to study if necessary. Influencer Flex Mommy discussed her decision to forego university and enter the workforce directly. After working in hospitality and retail, she decided to study fashion business and then public relations. However, she ultimately found that hands-on experience was more valuable than studying at an institution. Flex Mommy emphasized the importance of trying different paths and not being afraid of failure. Shoppo CEO Jane Liu shared her experience of studying part-time while working at KPMG. She described how an exchange trip to Sweden allowed her to reinvent herself and change her perspective on her career. After a particularly frustrating day at work, Liu decided to quit her job and focus on her pop-up store side hustle, which eventually led to the creation of Shoppo. Liu's advice to school leavers was to always try their hardest and make the most out of every situation. Matilda's midfielder Claire Wheeler discussed her decision to balance her education with her soccer career. Despite the challenges of juggling school and elite sport, Wheeler managed to complete her degree and secure a job at Macquarie Bank. She encouraged young people to take their time in figuring out their future and not to put too much pressure on themselves. Comedian Will Anderson spoke about his decision to study journalism in order to pursue a career in stand-up comedy. He initially chose to study in Canberra to ease himself into city life. Although he wasn't heavily involved in university extracurricular activities, Anderson used his degree to analyze the news and the advertising industry in his comedy work. He advised school leavers to focus on nurturing a sense of curiosity and a love of learning. Why warblers flock to wealthier neighborhoods. New York Times. Urban ecologists are increasingly investigating the overlap between environmental justice and biodiversity conservation. A group of urban ecologists are working to demonstrate that patterns of bigotry and inequality affect the lives of other species within cities. This growth of urban ecology has been aided in part by Mapping Inequality, a project from the University of Richmond's Digital Scholarship Lab. This project created a digital archive of redlining, a New Deal-era housing policy that enforced neighborhood segregation in the United States. It is hoped that the growth of urban ecology will shed new light on the connection between humans and non-human neighbors, with potential to make discoveries with real-world implications. Where Dutch voters go, other countries will follow. Bloomberg. Dutch voters are becoming increasingly frustrated with rising house prices, decarbonization costs, and a desire for tougher immigration policies. Financial abundance has not resulted in stable politics as inflation has exposed gaps between economic winners and losers. A coalition will be necessary as none of the three candidates is polling above 20%, but the result could reflect a right-of-center political petri dish across Europe. Number of teachers in England and Wales retiring early jumps by 40%. Financial Times. The number of teachers taking early retirement in England and Wales has increased by more than 40% in a year, exacerbating an ongoing workforce crisis in the education system. A total of 5,610 teachers opted for early retirement in the year to September 2023, compared with 3,932 in the previous 12 months, according to data from the Department for Education. The figure represents an 87% increase compared with the same period 2 years ago. The shift from a final salary to a less generous career average pension scheme, higher contribution rates, and a rise in the pension age are all factors behind the rise, according to wealth management group Quilter. Super intelligent AI, the utopians. Financial Times. The second episode of the Tectonic podcast series explores the debate around the regulation of artificial intelligence, AI, and the potential risks associated with the development of human-level AI. The podcast features interviews with experts in the field, including Jack Clark from Anthropic, Dan Hendricks from the Center for AI Safety, Jan LeCun from Meta, and Emily Bender from the University of Washington. The discussion covers topics such as the ethical implications of AI, the need for AI safeguards, and the role of government in regulating the industry. Can Disney rediscover the magic? Financial Times. Disney CEO Bob Iger is facing challenges as he tries to revive the company's creative engines and navigate the collapse of the traditional television business. Disney's studios, including Marvel, Pixar, and Lucasfilm, have hit a rough patch, with diminishing viewing figures and lackluster critical responses to recent releases. Iger acknowledges the need to restore Disney's creative spark and is taking a hands-on approach to improving the quality of its movies. He has scaled back the number of films being made and is engaging in candid discussions with studio chiefs when films miss the mark. Iger is also trying to turn streaming into something profitable and has taken the unusual step of publicly floating ideas of selling off some of Disney's TV assets. Profits at Disney's TV network's business unit fell by $1 billion in the fiscal year 2023 as more customers moved to streaming services. Iger is seeking a strategic partner to acquire a stake in ESPN to help with content distribution and technology. The collapse of the TV business has prompted Iger to consider selling the ABC television network and even questioned the need to keep the Hulu streaming service. The Sam Altman effect: his superpower is getting people on side. Financial Times. OpenAI chief Sam Altman has been sacked by OpenAI's board, sparking an internal revolt by the majority of staff. Tech luminaries including Eric Schmidt, Vinod Khosla and Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella have rushed to Altman's defense. Microsoft has offered Altman a new role leading an AI research division. The 38-year-old entrepreneur played a central role in the establishment of the multi-billion-dollar generative AI industry. Altman had made AI accessible to humanity at large with his brainchild, ChatGPT, and reduced the price of the software and launched an AI app store. OpenAI has been transformed from a nonprofit research outfit into a company generating $1 billion of annual revenue. Altman has been described as deeply competitive and a mastermind, with an ability to corral support and shape narratives. Altman has ambitions to create a powerful general AI technology that is safe for humanity. It's not the end for boys' schools, the principals standing by single-sex education. The Sydney Morning Herald. Some of Australia's oldest private boys' schools have said they will not consider moving to co-education, after one school announced it would start admitting girls within the decade. Newington College, based in Sydney, will become fully co-educational by 2033. Its decision to admit girls has sparked division among its former students. Newington's move follows that of another prominent all-boys school, Cranbrook, which will enroll girls from 2026. There are currently 68 private single-sex schools in Australia, down from 79 10 years ago. The state government has pledged to have a co-educational school in every area. Rory Stewart, Daniel Khalife's alleged prison escape was not a one-off. Telegraph. Rory Stewart, the former prisons minister, has criticised the UK government for its approach to prison reform. Stewart, who will deliver the annual Longford Lecture on prison reform this week, has said that prisons are overcrowded and that the government is not taking the issue seriously enough. He also stated that the government has prioritized tough-on-crime rhetoric over evidence-based policies. Stewart called for the scrapping of short prison sentences of under 6 months, replacing them with enhanced community alternatives. He described the current system as the worst of all worlds. Stewart also criticized the government for playing to a political base rather than following evidence. Inside one of the world's deadliest forests, and the bushmeat hunters risking contagion. Telegraph. Scientists have discovered a trove of scientific secrets in the blood of villagers in southern Guinea who have been exposed to deadly diseases including Ebola, Marburg virus and Lassa fever. The researchers tested the blood of 517 bushmeat hunters and traders from dozens of villages in the region and found antibodies for these diseases, as well as signs of past infections with SARS and MERS-like viruses. The viruses are believed to have spilled over from wild animals that are regularly caught, killed and eaten by the hunters and their families. While most pathogens do not adapt to their new host and spread from person to person, the researchers warn that the risk remains of a major epidemic or even a pandemic occurring. Exclusive, this pizza box-sized equipment could be key to Ukraine keeping the lights on this winter. CNN. Ukraine's power grid operator, Ukrenergo, has imported custom-built equipment designed to withstand Russian electronic warfare attacks, with the help of U.S. officials and engineers at Cisco. The new equipment, which has not been previously reported, could offer a crucial lifeline to Ukraine's electricity grid, which has been a key target of Russian attacks. The equipment was built and stress-tested by Cisco in the U.S. and delivered to Ukraine with the help of a U.S. Air Force plane carrying humanitarian aid. The equipment, worth an estimated $1 million, has been installed across the country and has been confirmed to work despite Russian attacks on Ukraine's GPS systems. Dolphins found living with world's highest reported PFAS levels near Melbourne, Gippsland. ABC. Dolphins off the coast of Melbourne and Gippsland in Australia have been found to contain the highest levels of PFAS chemicals in the world, according to a study by the Marine Mammal Foundation, RMIT University, and the University of Melbourne. The chemicals, which are commonly found in food packaging, firefighting foam, and non-stick cookware, do not break down and can lead to health problems through long-term exposure. The dolphins had PFAS concentrations on average 10 times higher than the amount that would normally result in liver toxicity and other health issues. Joe Biden jokes about his age while pardoning turkeys on 81st birthday. ABC. U.S. President Joe Biden celebrated his 81st birthday on the same day as the ceremonial pardoning of turkeys, a Thanksgiving tradition. The event took place at the White House, where Biden pardoned 2 turkeys named Liberty and Bell. They will live out their days at the University of Minnesota's College of Food, Agricultural and Natural Resources Sciences. The pardoning of turkeys has been a tradition since 1947, with the turkeys being spared from being cooked for Thanksgiving dinner. During the ceremony, Biden joked about his age, saying that it was difficult turning 60. 2 months ago, a poll showed that 77% of respondents believed Biden was too old to be president, with 39% saying he was mentally sharp enough. However, Biden's press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, responded to the survey by saying he should be judged on his record, not his age. If Biden is re-elected next year, he would be 86 by the end of his second term. Before him, Ronald Reagan held the record as the oldest-serving president, leaving office at the age of 77. Teaching gender equality is hard when we segregate school students. The Sydney Morning Herald. Some of Sydney's oldest boys' schools are refusing to enroll girls despite increasing signs that single-sex education is falling out of favor. Newington College, a private boys' school, has recently decided to go co-ed, following in the footsteps of other schools such as Cranbrook and Barker College. However, principals at some schools are choosing to continue offering parents the choice of sending their children to single-sex schools. A petition to overturn Newington's decision is being circulated among old boys and parents, arguing that co-ed schooling erodes the school's heritage. Watkins, Marshall lead number 8 USC women in 64-54 win over Seton Hall in Bahamas. Associated Press. Number 8 USC defeated Seton Hall 64-54 in the Baha Mar Pink Flamingo Championship. USC built a strong lead in the first half and extended it in the third quarter, but struggled to score in the fourth. Despite being outscored in the final quarter, USC held on for the win. USC's Raya Marshall had a double-double with 14 points and 14 rebounds, while Juju Watkins scored 15 points. Azana Baines led Seton Hall with 16 points. The victory comes on a big day for the Pac-12, with 5 teams in the top 10 of the AP Top 25 poll. USC will play Penn State in their next game. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the latest news from around the world. Today, we heard from a number of well-known Australians about their experiences transitioning out of high school and into their careers. From scientists to influencers, they all shared valuable insights and advice for young people. So, if you're feeling lost after year 12, remember that resilience, trying different paths, and making the most of every situation can lead you to success. In other news, urban ecologists are investigating the connection between environmental justice and biodiversity conservation. By examining patterns of inequality and discrimination, they hope to shed light on how it affects other species within cities. This research has been aided by the mapping of redlining, a housing policy that enforced neighborhood segregation in the U.S. This growing field of urban ecology has the potential to make real-world discoveries with implications for both humans and non-human neighbors. Meanwhile, Dutch voters are expressing frustration with rising house prices, decarbonization costs, and immigration policies. This reflects a broader trend across Europe, where financial abundance has not translated into political stability. It will be interesting to see how these frustrations manifest in the upcoming elections and if they will have a ripple effect across the continent. On the education front, the number of teachers in England and Wales retiring early has jumped by 40%. This exacerbates an ongoing workforce crisis in the education system, with factors such as pension changes and higher contribution rates contributing to the rise. It's crucial that we address these issues to ensure a stable and sustainable education system for future generations. Moving on to technology, the debate around the regulation of artificial intelligence, AI, continues to grow. Experts are discussing the ethical implications of AI and the need for safeguards and government regulation. The development of AI technology has the potential to revolutionize many aspects of our lives, but it's important that we proceed with caution and consider the impact on society as a whole. In the entertainment industry, Disney CEO Bob Iger is facing challenges as he tries to revive the company's creative engines. Disney studios have hit a rough patch, with diminishing viewership and lackluster critical responses to recent releases. Iger is taking a hands-on approach to improving the quality of Disney's movies and exploring new avenues such as streaming. It will be interesting to see how Disney adapts to the changing landscape of the entertainment industry and whether it can recapture the magic that made it a household name. In the world of AI and technology, OpenAI's chief Sam Altman has been sacked, sparking an internal revolt. Altman played a central role in the establishment of the generative AI industry and made AI accessible to humanity at large. He has ambitions to create a powerful general AI technology that is safe for humanity. It will be fascinating to see how this shakeup affects the future of OpenAI and the development of AI technology as a whole. Shifting gears, there is an ongoing debate about single-sex education in Australia. Some of the country's oldest boys' schools have decided to remain single-sex, while others, like Newington College, have opted to go coeducational. The decision to go co-ed has sparked division among former students, highlighting the ongoing discussion around the benefits and drawbacks of single-sex education. It's a complex issue, and it's important that we continue to have open and honest conversations about the best way to educate young people. On a lighter note, U.S. President Joe Biden celebrated his 81st birthday by pardoning turkeys as part of a Thanksgiving tradition. During the ceremony, Biden joked about his age, poking fun at himself and the perception that he may be too old to be president. It's refreshing to see a leader who can laugh at themselves and not take everything too seriously. Finally, in the sports world, number 8 USC women's basketball team secured a victory against Seton Hall in the Baha Mar Pink Flamingo Championship. Despite a strong lead in the first half, USC faced some challenges in the fourth quarter but managed to hold on for the win. It's always exciting to see athletes push themselves to achieve greatness and come out on top. That's all for today's news. Remember, life is full of twists and turns, and it's important to stay resilient, try different paths, and make the most out of every situation. Now, I would love to hear from you, my dear viewers. What are your thoughts on these news stories? Do you have any questions? Let's keep the discussion going. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.